Phases and eclipses. What causes the moon's phases? Have you ever been kept awake by bright moonlight? The light streaming through your window actually comes from the sun. The moon does not shine with its own light. Instead, it reflects light from the sun. When the moon is full, the light may be bright enough to read by, but at other times, the moon is just a thin crescent in the sky. The different shapes of the moon you see from Earth are called phases. Phases are caused by the motions of the moon around Earth. Motions of the moon. When you look up at the moon, you may see what looks like a face. What you're really seeing is a pattern of light-colored and dark-colored areas on the moon's surface that just happen to look like a face. Oddly, this pattern never seems to move. The same side of the moon, the near side, always faces Earth. The far side of the moon always faces away from Earth. Why? The answer has to do with the moon's motions. Like Earth, the moon moves through space in two ways. The moon revolves around Earth and also rotates on its own axis. The moon rotates once on its axis in the same time it takes to revolve once around the Earth. Thus, a day on the moon is the same length as a month on Earth. For this reason, the same side of the moon always faces Earth, as you can see in Figure 1. As the moon orbits Earth, the relative positions of the moon, Earth, and sun change. The changing relative positions of the moon, Earth, and sun cause the phases of the moon. If you're looking at Figure 1, this image on the right-hand side, right here, you can see that face, they've drawn an actual face on the moon. But as it revolves around the Earth, it's going to rotate just 1/4 of the way. So we would end up with our face still looking towards the Earth. And as it continues to revolve around the Earth, it's going to rotate just a little bit more. So now it was facing the Earth this way. Now it's facing the Earth and it's turned halfway. It's turned 180 degrees instead of facing out this way because it's rotating on its own axis. As it continues to revolve, that face of the moon is going to keep facing Earth. So eventually that face is going to turn from this left side to the front, to the right, and then to the back. And that one rotation is the same as one revolution on the moon. So the same side is always visible to Earth. Phases of the moon. Half the moon is almost always in sunlight. But since the moon orbits Earth, you see the moon from different angles. The phase of the moon you see depends on how much of the sunlit side of the moon faces Earth. During the new moon phase, the side of the moon facing Earth is not lit. As the moon revolves around Earth, you see more of the lit side of the moon until you see all of the lit side. As the month continues, you see less of the lit side. You can see these changes in Figure 2. About 29 and a half days after the last new moon, a new moon occurs again. So one revolution of the moon around the Earth, or one lunar cycle, is about 30 days. That's where we get our month from, because it's that consistent motion in the sky. But we are looking at 29 and a half days to complete a lunar cycle. If you were standing here on Earth, let me get my little tool here. If you were standing here on Earth's surface, looking out at the moon during a new moon phase, you would not be able to see any of that lit side. That's what that yellow line shows you. That's what's visible from Earth. So as it revolves around the sun, now right here, we're able to finally see just a little bit of that lit side, but half of the moon is always lit up in the night sky.